This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Dallas Church sees protest after inviting the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence to a blessing. Activists protested a troupe of drag queens known for dressing up as Catholic nuns at an LGBTQ+ friendly church in Dallas. Cathedral of Hope hosted a drag Sunday service to bless the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, who have some have described as an anti-Catholic hate group. The 10 a.m. service was held in response to SB 12, a new state law that aims to prohibit sexually oriented performances from being held in the presence of minors. The law was set to take effect on September 1st, but it faced a legal challenge by the ACLU and was temporarily blocked by a federal judge. Roughly 40 protesters gathered at the Cathedral of Hope one morning to voice their opposition to the service, honoring the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. Church leaders at the Cathedral of Hope stood by their decision to host the controversial drag group. They said the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence have a positive message for those in the LGBTQ+ community who have been excluded from churches. During the sermon, Reverend Neil G. Thomas emphasized on the resilience and power of drag queens and called them authentic. After the sermon, the drag performers came onto the stage and a blessing was read over them by church leaders. So, yay Neil.
Yeah, yes.
Yay Cathedral of Hope.
We all know Neil.
Yes, we all know
we
Neil.
do.
And
Cathedral of
Reverend
Hope.
Dr. Michael Diaz is
Exactly,
all staff
on
there,
staff
executive
there as
minister.
well. And you were
I was
there for,
hundreds of years ago, yes.
right, you were on staff there
That was
as
my
well.
entry into ministry, yeah. I was there about
Absolutely.
5 or 6 years.
And yay to the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence.
Yes.
Mhm.
They do such phenomenal work. Now, I have heard of them. And I know a bit of their work, of course, because I'm a part of the queer community, so I know a bit of their work. But I did just a little research after reading the story, and I wanted to know more about them. They are such activists.
Yes.
Yes.
They are such activists. I mean, they are out there and they originally started just before the AIDS crisis, but then when the AIDS crisis occurred, they really jumped
Yes.
into the fray with that. And they do work, on human trafficking and just all kinds of things that the church needs to be doing. These are people dressed as Catholic nuns, God bless them,
Yeah.
that's fabulous, that are doing the work that the church is called to do.
Yeah.
So let's bless them.
Exactly.
I think
Yes.
it's phenomenal that they received that blessing and bless Neil and bless
Yes.
the Cathedral of Hope, and that's now.
They raise so much money for good causes. They really are a church of the streets.
Yes.
They are
Yes,
not.
yes.
They are not a church of dogma. They're not a church
No.
of doctrine. They're not a church of creeds. But they are a church of action.
Yes.
And so they are loving their neighbors. They are making sure that the poor, the marginalized, the forgotten, the sick, the hurting are ministered to.
Yes.
And they're doing it with joy and chic. They are, instead of churches condemning them, churches need to follow their lead.
Yes.
Churches should be more like the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. Yes, they have funky names and they're campy and fun. And again, why shouldn't religion, while you're doing this important work, why can't you laugh along the way?
Absolutely.
Joy, after all, is a gift of the Spirit. The prophet Nehemiah said that the joy of the Lord is my strength. And so, yes, they're joyful, they're campy, but what's more important is that they are doing the work that every church, every synagogue, every temple, every coven, every good person ought to be doing.
Yeah.
And they're doing it. So don't hate them for doing good. Follow their example.
Several years ago, I was at the local 8 Walks on a Sunday morning, and I remember Sunday, Saturday, when it was, and I ran into the Sisters of Perpetual doing the walk, and one of them came up to me and said, I would love to have a blessing from the priest, and I just turned and I was like, but I'd be better if I got a blessing from you today.
Oh, nice.
And that was kind of one of those moments that was kind of special to me. And so I really appreciate their work, all that they do. They're always out there leading the charge on several fronts. And so bless the sisters and keep up the good work.
Exactly. And can we say something about the 40 fools? Can you imagine? I'm a protester. I mean, I have protested state party conventions. I've protested in 2000. I thought there was some shadiness with the election. I was in the street protesting. I'm getting a little old now, but in earlier days, I'd be out there with my signs. I'd be yelling at folks. So I don't mind protesting. Freedom of speech, freedom of political action. Good. Do your bit. But it never occurred to me to interrupt anybody's worship experience with protesting. It's never occurred to me to protest the way people worship. Now, there are lots of religious groups that I don't agree with. There's a lot of, my lot in life is to heal the hurts that have been caused by other religious traditions. And so, but I don't go to their church while they're worshiping. I don't interrupt their prayer. Even if I think their sermon is evil, even if I think they're misunderstanding or misrepresenting scripture, even if I think their songs are sexist or militaristic, they have the right to have that experience without me being disruptive or whatever. So I just can't, like, if you thought this was a terrible thing, write your letters, do whatever you need to, but you protested worship. You protested worship. And yeah, they're blessing people that you don't think deserve a blessing, but they didn't ask you to do it.
Right.
They didn't do it in your space. And, you know, I have blessed homes and pets.
Yeah.
And one time I blessed a snake. I had to hold the snake and bless the snake. I kissed that snake.
I remember that.
Yes, you did.
Blessing is just a prayer, just wishing people well. You can't wish the sisters well for what they do that's good, then fine, don't. But don't be showing your ass for people who are doing it. That's I just thought that was so silly that 40 people missed their own church service
To come and
to aggravate other people during theirs.
That's a whole lot right there.
Yeah.
And just one last thought. The sisters are very comfortable with being lightning rods. They don't mind drawing attention to themselves so that they can tell the world about all of the great things that they're doing.
They're not putting on a face and a habit to be discreet.
They're on a mission.
Yep.
Exactly.
Good for them.
Good for them and bless their mission.
You better believe it.
Amen.
We are excited to tell you about our next adventure with our Global Fellowship. In 2024, we'll be going to where the hills are alive as we explore Austria and Alpine Europe for Gay Oktoberfest. Space is extremely limited, so make sure to go to happeningout.travel/sunshine to reserve your space now.
Would you like to join the Queer God Squad on a special winter cruise in 2024? Well, now you can. You will visit Cozumel, Mexico, Grand Cayman, and Ocho Rios, and you can even add an open bar and Wi-Fi. Join us by going to happeningout.travel/sunshine.